Oh, hello.
Hello. How are you?
Where, all right, where are you today?
Toronto.
Oh, okay, not too far.
Not so far. Not so
Cold?
far.
Cold?
Very cold. Very cold. And tomorrow they say it's going to snow, I don't know, 10 centimeters.
Well, that's 4 inches.
Yeah,
That's a lot.
that's a lot. Right now there's no snow on the ground, but they say we're
Well,
going to change.
we're gonna have as of tomorrow night big storms apparently here, rain.
Really. No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm flying back tomorrow, so hopefully I don't get.
Uh-oh. Well, I think it's starting at night.
Well, my flight comes in at 9 o'clock at night. So, anyways, it is what it is. I can't change the weather.
And now it starts at 2 p.m. and it goes to, yeah, from 2 p.m. onwards.
Uh-huh. Okay. All right.
I think we're doing 96 today.
Okay. You didn't have yesterday, right?
No.
No. And tomorrow we're going to do the survey.
That I don't remember if he said tomorrow, but I think so. I think we'll ask him now. I
Hi,
think he
everybody.
said.
All right, welcome back.
Good to be back.
Ernie, we're doing tomorrow the surba.
Yes. First, we'll do Dafit 7. I'm going to do 2 blot tonight, and I'm going to be 2 blot tomorrow because they're shorter blot.
Okay.
We're on Sadik Vav 96. I think I taught it, but I'm not sure the Wi-Fi was okay. I don't think Johnny said they couldn't hear me, so we'll do it again. Sadik Vav, Ahmed Aleph. Yes, and then we'll do Sorba tomorrow night as well at 8 o'clock.
Okay.
We'll pick up where we left off.
Very good.
Ela K'der Shel Migdash Amay Yishavru. We said that if you have Kli Cheres that has absorption of a Chatas, you have to destroy it. Why? Now, Adrino Lekivshonos, put it back and melt it into the kiln, and then start again. Amar of Zera Lefishen Oisin Kivshonis B'Shalayim. They worried about pollution in Jerusalem. So they didn't allow, kilns in Jerusalem. Okay, but now you're going to break this kalim. You have to throw it in a garbage trash. So you're making an ashpa in the Azara. So Ishtamitze had the Tani Shmai Bekalmbo that Abaya forgot what Shmaya taught, that Shivrei Klicheres Nivloin Bimkoiman. That when you broke up the klicheres, it was like one of the nisim, it sort of got absorbed by the ground, and you didn't see it. It's a nace. So we have Rav Nachman saying that the ovens were metal, because otherwise we'd have a problem if they were cheres, because you'd have to break them. So the Gemara says, Neva de cheres, de seko mebifnimu. Well, you could make it because a fire is lit from the inside. We said before that if you fire something up from the inside, that would kasher it. So the Gemara says, Kivan de alechem v'lechem apani. There are a couple of things that are baked in that oven. Shtei alechem on Shavuos, the lechem upon him every week. Daf Yosim Betanur K'tushasim Betanur. You baked it, and then it serves as the kli shares to be miskadeshid. Havale kli shares, so kli shares to cheres lo avdinan. We did not make kli cheres out of. Excuse me. We didn't make a kli shares out of a kli cheres. Mafil Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda, who allows that lokomer el de eitz. It means you can make metallic, non-metallic kli shares, but they have to be of wood. Aval de cheres lo. Now, Rav Yitzchak Bar Yehuda Avarogel Kamed Rabbi Bar Chama. Rav Yitzchak would learn by Rabbi Bar Chama. Shav Kevozel Rav Sheshes. He used to be a Talmud of Rami Bar Chama. Later on, he switched over to the yeshiva Rav Sheshes. Yom Echad Pogabay, one day his old Rebbe, Rami Bar Chama, met up with his old student, Rabbi Yitzchak. And Rami said, Omer Lei, Alak Fechanaktan Recha Silo Liyad. Rav Sheshes was like the Gadol Ador or whatever. He was very high, and I was like not as high as him. It's like he was knocking Rav Yitzchak that he only likes to hang out with the great people. Mishum da'azlas l'kamed Rav Sheshes havislach ki Rav Sheshes. You think that just because you're studying with Rav Sheshes, you become Rav Sheshes? He thought it was like a Kovedika thing, that by studying in the yeshiva Rav Sheshes, it's like studying in Ponovich instead of a smaller yeshiva. That's not why I moved over from you to Rav Sheshes. He gave him a reason in learning. Marki Bayina Milsa. You, Rabbi Bar Chama, when I used to ask you a kasha, Poshet Le Misvara, you would give me some kind of logical answer. When I found a baraisa that sort of went against that, now Rav Sheshes but if I would find a baraisa, it would break the svara up. But Rav Sheshes keep in a milsamine. When I ask Rav Sheshes halacha, pasha libim masnisa, he answers it from a baraisa. The chinami mishkachas masnisu parcha. So if I find a baraisa that opposes that, so it's masnisu masnisahu. So it's a machlokes tanoim, but the halacha remains okay. So he basically preferred Rav Sheshes' methodology in learning. Amar lei. After hearing this, Rabbi Bar Chama said, "Boy minei milsa de ifshel l'chaki masnisa." Go ahead, ask me a kasha in halacha, and I'll answer you with a brisa. So boy minei, bishel b'mixas kli. You cooked one of the kodshim, not in the whole kli, in part of the kli. Ton rika shtifa o ein ton. Does the kli require, like we talked about, hagala and rinsing it, or just the area that the place was cooked? Amr lei, so Rabbi Bar Chama said, ein ton midid hava azah. It doesn't require, just like if some blood got sprinkled on a beged, we said the whole beged doesn't have to be kibbutz, just the area. So, but Rav Yitzchak responded, "V'halo tanachi." There's a brisa that doesn't say that. Amar le mistavra kebeged. It's more logical to say that just like by a beged, you don't have to do kibbutz of the whole beged. It's the same by kli. Why? Ma beged enoton kibbutz el makom adam. A beged only has to be clean where the blood is, not the whole garment. Av kli enoton riko shtifa makom bishul. Amar le midami. So Rav Yitzchak responded and said, it's not comparable. Dam lo mefapeh, bishul mefapeh. There is a concept in kashrus, like when a kli absorbs a flavor, it's mefapeh. It permeates and spreads throughout the whole kli. Dam on a beged doesn't do it; just stays there. And therefore, it's not enough when you have a kli that has absorbed something. You gotta do shtif of the whole kli. V'od Tanya. Chomer bazom and riko shtifa. There's actually a certain chumrah by hazah of blood. And there's an aspect of chomer riko shtifa mebazah. There's an chumrah of washing and rinsing these kelim. Chomer bazah shazah yeshem b'chatos hachitzon v'chatos hapnimiyos. The chumrah by hazah is that it's any kind of chatas, whether it's an outdoor chatas, right, in the Azora, or an inside chatas, like by the Heichal. Either one requires kibbuz. And yesh lo lefnei zrika. Even before you have you done the zrika on the mizbeach? Mashek and Riko Shtifa. By Riko Shtifa, it's only after the zrika sadam. It's when you're cooking food. You've already done the zrika then. And it certainly doesn't apply to the chatos of the hechel because you don't eat them. Mashek and Riko Shtifa. Choyim Riko Shtifa, there's an aspect of washing these pots. Sham Riko Shtifa noeges ben bekotche kotche ben bekotche kali. We learned a few days ago that it's both kotche kotchim, like a chatas ola nosham, and kotchim kalim, you both need Riko Shtifa. And Bishab makes a sakli ton Riko Shtifa kolakli. Another chumrah by Riko Shtifa is even if you cooked only in a part of the kli, the whole kli requires hagola. Masha'enkein bazah. We said by hazah, if the blood goes on a beged, you don't have to clean. You only have to clean the beged. So Amar Lei Tanya. So Rami Bar Chama said, fine. I gave you a svar, but you brought me a price, so not like that. Time am I. And why does the whole kli, when it absorbs flavor, why do you need Riko Shtifa for the whole kli? Amar Kravim Bechli Nechoshes Bushala. Afilu b'mixas kli. So it's a drasha. Mishnah said, Echad kotche kotchim, Echad kotche kalim require Riko Shtifa. And Reb Shimon argued that kotchim kalim don't need that. Ton Rabban. Says chatas. Zois Taurus achatas. Ainli al chatas. So that's the parsha of Riko Shtifa. I might think kol kotchim ainli al chatas. Maybe only a korban chatas. Kol kotchim minayin. Talmud Loimer kodesh kadoshim hu. Now, kodesh kadoshim hu only kohan, only because there it says only the zichrei kohuna, the male kohanim. And why would we say kodesh kalim? We don't know yet. Kodesh kadoshim he seems to imply that you have a raya for the kodesh kodshim. I don't know about the kodesh kalim yet. Yachol sheni marbesat truma. The Gemara's Havamina now is even Kotche Kalim requires Riko Shtifa, because now it moves on to Truma, that if you cook Truma, you might need to do Riko Shtifa. Talmud Lamer Osa, Prat le Truma, to exclude Truma. Divrei Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Ara Kotche Kotchim Tunim Riko Shtifa. Only Kotche Kotchim, Ola Chatas Noshim. Kotchim Kalim, like a Shlamim, a Toda, B'chor, Meiser, Pesach, Kotchim Kalim, Einan Tunim Riko Shtifa. T'chsiv kodesh kodoshim. Kodshei kodoshim in. Kodshei kalim lo. So our shaila now is for Rabbi Yehuda. My time Rabbi Yehuda, who includes even kodshei kalim, that you have to do Mariko Shtifa. Oh, Yitzrich Osa, Lemute Truma. The Osa only excludes Truma. Michlad, the Kodshim Kalim, Tunim Mariko Shtifa. Rab Shimon Amar Lecha Osa Kedamrina. He doesn't darshan this Osa to exclude Truma. He excludes that if a chatas is possible, then you don't have to launder it. Okay. It seemed that both Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon do not require Mariko Shtifa for Truma. Truma lo boy Shtifa Marika, is that true? Matanya. Kedera shebishal bo basar, lo yivashal bo chalov. You have a pot that you cooked meat. You should not cook later on milk in it, because the meat flavor is absorbed into the walls of the pot. And therefore, if you cook milk in it, you're going to be eating basar b'chalov. Now, we know it's only ben yomo, the first 24 hours. After the first 24 hours, the flavor becomes livgam. And lechatchila, you shouldn't use the kli for milk, but if you did, you don't have to throw away the food. We have a halacha in the Shulchan Aruch that if you cook milk in such a pot, you need hagala. It's a gzeira. Technically, you didn't do a problem, but we don't want. So there's a lot of gzeiras there. Okay. Now, what's the shear in bishul benoisen tam? If you had this pot that had absorbed basar and you cooked milk, so it's only osir if it's less than 1/60th ratio between the milk. That means, let's say there's a very tiny little bit of meat absorption in the pot, and you have more than 60 times milk in that pot, then it would be okay. In halacha, the Shulchan Aruch paskins that you can give the milk to a kfela, to a non-Jewish person to taste it. And if he cannot taste the milk, the meat taste in the milk, you could eat it. And if you can taste it, you can't eat it. We don't hold of kfela. The Ramah paskins, it's always 60. Now, truma, let's say you cook truma in a pot. Lo yivashel b'chulin. If you cooked chulin in it, so the chulin would absorb the flavor of the truma, and a non-kohen wouldn't be able to eat it. So you shouldn't cook chulin in such a pot. If you did, it's benoisen tam. It depends. If it's less than 1/60th ratio, you would not be able to eat the chulin. If it's greater than 60, it's bottle, and you can eat it. But we do see, therefore, that this concept of hagala, right, we said before, you don't need Mariko Shtifa by Truma. You see, you do need it. Rabbi Loitzrich Elado Amar Mar Bishal b'mixas kli ton Mariko Shtifa kola kli. The halacha where we said that it doesn't apply to Truma, that's regarding the halacha that if you cook in a little bit of the kli, the whole kli requires it. But ha Truma lo yitzarech ela makom bishul. But Truma is not as chomerdik as kodshim. You'd only have to do the rinsing and the washing in the makom where you actually cook the Truma. That's the way Abaye answers. Rava Omar, that the statement when we say Mariko Shtifa doesn't apply to Truma, lo yitzrich ela Amar Mar, b'mayim v'lo b'yayin. When you do the Mariko Shtifa of a kli, you have to use water, not wine. B'mayim v'lo b'mazuk. and not even with diluted wine. But in Truma, if you can do the rinsing, the Mariko Shtifa, even with wine. Rabbi Barula Omer lo tzrich elo domer mar Mariko Shtifa b'tzoynein. We'll see soon that there's a machlokas how you do the Mariko Shtifa, cold water, hot water. So, according to the Mandomer that says Mariko Shtifa is done with cold water, but in Truma, afilu b'chamin, even if you only use hot water, you use cold water afterwards, it's okay. Now, there always has to be Hagala, where if you cook and if flavors absorb, you got to put it, like we kasher our kalim in Pesach, you put it in a hot water garbage can, and that's Hagala. Then there's Mariko Shtifa afterwards. Some say the Mariko Shtifa has to be done with cold water. Some say it could be with hot. With Truma, you only need hot. Fine. This nafkamina that you've now developed is good, according to the Mandoma that says that the Mariko Shtifa has to do with cold. El Manda Mariko Shtifa, the Chaminu Shtifa, but that the Marika, where you purge it, is done with hot water. And then when you rinse it, it's done with cold water. So Michael and Maimar. So if you cook Truma, you certainly would also need the hot water as the Marika. So Shtifa you say Rasa. That by Kodshim, the Chachamim required another round of cleaning it with cold water if you were using Kodshim. Truma doesn't require it. Hagala alone is enough. Mishnah. Rav Tarfa Noimer. Bishel metchilas haregel. You cooked, let's say, shlomi meat in a kli, first day of Yontif. Yivashel bo kol haregel. You don't have to do Mariko Shtifa. You can use the same kli the whole Pesach without Mariko Shtifa. At the end of Yontif, you have to do Mariko Shtifa. Like a shlomim can be eaten for 2 days. So at the end of the 2 days, that's when you have to do the Mariko Shtifa, according to Chacham. Or at the end of 1 day. Let's say it's a certain korban that you can only eat for 1 day. Then, Marika kamrika sakos. Marika is like when you do Marika to a cup. Ushtifa kishtifa sakos. Rinsing is also when you rinse a cup. We're talking about the cup that is used to do benching. You use a kosher bracha. And before you fill it with wine, it's got to be rinsed on the inside and outside. The Marika is washing the inside, and the Shtifa is washing the outside. Some say Marika is scrubbing it, so you get rid of any debris that's there. And then the Shtifa is when you rinse it to get rid of the debris that's there. Then Mariko Shtifa Bitzonin, both the sort of cleaning the inside of the kli and the outside of the kli is with cold water. Of course, there's been Hagala. And this is after the Hagala.
Aaron, you want me to stop and start?
Stop and then start again.